starting topic 16, lesson 1. Our question for today is, how do you name and graph points on a coordinate grid? So we are going to move over to some data analysis or graphing coordinate planes. So we're going to talk about today is, how do you name and graph points on a coordinate grid? So the first thing you need to know that this whole thing here is a coordinate grid. So I would like you to pause the video and draw it out. Alright, now that you're back, we'll see that we are going to start talking about naming points, and we're going to have a couple key terms here. So the first thing today is we're going to talk about is that we're going to talk about ordered pairs. I want you to write ordered pairs. Ordered pairs are a pair of numbers, and they go in parentheses. So if I have a 2 and a 3, that's an ordered pair. It's two numbers that are together, and they always are in these parentheses, and you have a comma between them. Whenever we look at ordered pairs, we have to think about this as x and y. So please make sure you write that down. X and y. X always comes first. X comes before y. You can remember it that way. But x, y. So 2 is on the x, and 3 is on y. All right, do you see this? 2 is x, 3 is y. Why is this important? Because the next terms you are going to learn are the x-axis and the y-axis. So when we're looking at a coordinate plane, anything that's going horizontal, going back and forth like this is called the x-axis. Please write that down. You will be using this for your work. Please remember that the one going back and forth, horizontal, is the x-axis. As you can see, I said x-axis, the x. This is going to coordinate with the x. This is why this is very important to know this. And as you know, the next one is going to be the y-axis. So going up and down is the y-axis. Easiest way to remember, y is up and down, x is side to side. Y-axis. And remember that y-axis is going to be something like this is the y, and this is the y. Once you know what is the x-axis and what is the y-axis, then finding these ordered pairs or naming them is quite simple. All right? So I'm going to start with this 2, 3. You had a row 2, 3. That means you go to the number 2 on the x-axis. So I go 1, 2. So I'm at that second line. And then on the y-axis, I'm going to go up 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. That is where my ordered pair point will be. Right there. You see? I went on the y-axis to 2. And then I went up to the 3. I'm sorry, on the x-axis to the 2 and up to the y-axis of 3. Alright? That is how we can find the numbers. Pretty simple. So, I'm going to give you some ordered pairs. I'm going to look at the axis. We're going to put them on the coordinate plane. So, our first ordered pair, let's give it, guys. A is going to be 4, 5. B is going to be 1, 6. C is going to be 7, 2. And D is going to be 5, 5. We are going to make these points, and we are going to name them. So let's start with A. I get a different color here. A was 4 on the x-axis. Okay, remember this first one is always x, and the second one is y. So I go to 4 on the x-axis. 1, 2, there's the 4. And then I'm going to go up to the 5. And see, if you just kind of hold your finger across, or you just follow that line up till you see the 5. I see the 5 on the cross. So I just put my point right there where it intersects. Where it intersects on the 5 and the 4. And that dot we're going to name A. So that is A. Do we see that? All right. So then we're going to go to the next one. Let's try another one. Let's do B. B, we're going to name it. So we're going to go on the x-axis to a 1. So we go to 1. And then we go up to the 6. So we go 1 and then go up till we see 6. You see it, 6 goes across, 1 goes up. Alright, we'll put our dot right where those two lines intersect, and we're going to call that B. Pretty simple. We're just putting something up and then calling it that letter, the letter that's in front of it. So the next one would be C. So let's try C. C, we start the x-axis at 7, and then we go up to 2. So x, remember x is 7, and we go up to the number 2. We put our dot, point, whatever, right where those two lines intersect. Where 7 and 2 intersect, and we call it C. This is C. Right? It looks pretty simple once you understand what x and y axis are. And then last one, D. Let's do D. 5, 5. So on the x-axis I go to 5, and then I go up to the y-axis of 5. So here's my 5, and then I'm going to go up to 5. Look, it's right here next to the A. I'm going to name that D. So what you're doing today is they're going to give you numbers. They're going to give you these ordered pairs, and you're going to have to find it on the coordinate grid and write the name. So if I said, so say my question is, let me put something here. I'm going to put right here. And this is E. And this is F, or G. I'm going to call this one G. I say, where do you find 3, 4? What's the name of 3, 4? So I go to 3 on the x-axis, and I go up to 4, and there's that dot. That dot's name is E, so my answer would be E. So you're just going to be looking at ordered pairs on the coordinate grid and finding the appropriate name for it.